Today we are going to talk about some fascinating facts and important truths about the caracal cat. The caracal cat is one of Africa's ultimate hunters, a stealthy cat with an exceptional ability to hunt out prey on the savannah. The caracal is a graceful, slender cat with a short, thick coat and characteristic long, black-tufted ears. Its body color ranges from tawny gray to reddish-brown, and sometimes entirely black melanistic animals may occur. They have distinctive narrow black stripes running from their eye to their nose and down the middle of their forehead, and their eyes are yellow-brown with circular pupils instead of slits. The kittens feature redder spots on their undersides which adults do not have. Here are some of the most important facts about the caracal cat which will give you some further insight into its characteristics and temperament, as well as crucial information about why these magnificent creatures should remain in the wild. The name Caracal is derived from the Turkish word Karakalak, meaning black ear. This perfectly describes their most distinctive feature, those magnificent black tufted ears that make them instantly recognizable. The caracal was once trained for bird hunting in Iran and India, where they were put into arenas containing a flock of pigeons, and wagers were made as to how many the cat would take down. This is the origination of the expression to put a cat amongst the pigeons. The caracal is capable of leaping into the air and knocking down 10 to 12 birds at one time. In Swahili, the caracal is called Simba Mangu, which means secretive lion or secretive cat, as they are rarely seen in the wild. This name perfectly captures their elusive nature and the respect they command in their natural habitat. The caracal is a medium-sized wild cat that reaches 40 to 50 centimeters at the shoulder and weighs 8 to 19 kilograms. They are sexually dimorphic, meaning females are smaller than males in most bodily parameters. The prominent facial features include the 4.5 centimeter long black tufts on the ears, 2 black stripes from the forehead to the nose, the black outline of the mouth, the distinctive black facial markings, and the white patches surrounding the eyes and the mouth. Wasiyangers. The eyes appear to be narrowly open due to the lowered upper eyelid, probably an adaptation to shield the eyes from the sun's glare. The ear tufts may start drooping as the animal ages, and these tufts serve a crucial purpose beyond aesthetics. Approximately 20 muscles are controlling the pointy ears that help the cat detect the slightest sounds in the wild. The long tufts at the ear tips enhance the cat's hearing by funneling sounds into the ears. The coat is uniformly reddish-tan or sandy, though black caracals are also known. The underbelly and the insides of the legs are lighter, often with small reddish markings. The fur is soft, short, and dense, growing coarser in the summer. The hind legs are longer than the forelegs, so the body appears to be sloping downward from the rump. Caracals are agile hunters with truly amazing jumping abilities. All cats must eat meat to survive, and caracals hunt at night but are not picky and eat any animal they can catch. They sprint after mongooses, rodents, hyraxes, small antelopes, and monkeys. Occasionally, caracals kill mammals as large as an impala or young kudu and may attack domestic livestock. These agile cats have amazing jumping abilities, leaping up to 10 feet to swat a flying bird. The caracal can leap higher than 3 meters and catch birds in midair. It stalks its prey until it is within 5 meters of it, after which it runs it down and kills it with a bite to the throat or to the back of the neck. Caracals keep their claws sharp to help them capture their prey, and they sometimes climb trees and even stash their catch in the branches for a later meal. Caracals hunt daily and are capable of tracking prey. They can easily take down prey larger than themselves, such as adult springbok, impala, mountain reedbuck, bushbuck, sheep, and goats. The bulk of the caracal's diet comprises of hares, rodents, small monkeys, hyraxes, antelopes, and birds, particularly doves and partridges. Larger mammals which fall under the caracal's claw include mountain gazelles, mountain reedbucks, and various antelope species. Like an economical car that doesn't need to stop regularly to fill up on gas, the caracal can go for significantly longer than its cat cousins without rehydration. Owing to an advanced water storage system and an advantageous ability to squeeze the last bits of liquid from its food, the caracal can safely survive for longer without stopping to drink. This specialist attribute allows it to sustain itself throughout long-distance treks across dry, arid lands in search of nutrition. In short, the caracal cat can roam further from the water, which means it can find its own food away from the competition of lions and leopards. The Arabian caracal primarily inhabits arid and semi-arid regions, including deserts, scrublands, and savannas, where it utilizes its keen hunting skills to adapt to the harsh environment. In these desert ecosystems, the caracal faces climate variations that range from scorching daytime heat to chilly nights. The caracal exhibits nocturnal activity, which helps it avoid the harsh daytime temperatures of the desert. By being active at night, it also benefits from cooler conditions that are more conducive to hunting and conserving water. The caracal has a wide geographic range extending from North Africa and Turkey, through the Arabian Peninsula and the Middle East. It also is found throughout Africa, except in the deserts of the Sahara and Namib, and the dense forests of the Congo and West Africa. Unlike most cats, the caracal prefers open country and can tolerate dry conditions. However, the cat still requires some form of cover, such as trees, bushes, and rocks. Caracals are native to large swaths of dry desert land, and over the years they have found homes in Africa, the Middle East, Central Asia, and even parts of India. As far as caracals are concerned, the drier the better, though they have evolved to subsist on very little water. One such country that the caracal calls home is the Kingdom of Lesotho, which it shares with a handful of other big cats, including the Transvaal lion, the African leopard, and the South African cheetah. The caracal is typically nocturnal, though some activity may be observed during the day as well. However, the cat is so secretive and difficult to observe that its activity at daytime might easily go unnoticed. A study in South Africa showed that caracals are most active when the air temperature drops below 20 degrees Celsius, and activity typically ceases at higher temperatures. As solitary animals, caracals are typically found alone, though may be spotted in mating pairs. A solitary cat, the caracal mainly occurs alone or in pairs, and the only groups seen are of mothers with their offspring. Females in oestrus temporarily pair with males. A territorial animal, the caracal marks rocks and vegetation in its territory with urine, and probably with dung, which is not covered with soil. In Israel, males are found to have territories averaging 220 square kilometers, while that of females averaged 57 square kilometers. The male territories vary from 270 to 1,116 square kilometers in Saudi Arabia. These territories overlap extensively. The conspicuous ear tufts and the facial markings often serve as a method of visual communication, and caracals have been observed interacting with each other by moving the head from side to side so that the tufts flicker rapidly. Both sexes become sexually mature by the time they are 1 year old and breed throughout the year. Caracals, both male and female, become sexually mature at 7 to 10 months, though won't successfully copulate until 14 to 15 months of age. Once ready, they breed throughout the year, which is another great survival mechanism. The gestation period for a caracal lasts 2 to 3 months and results in a litter of 1 to 6 kittens. Juveniles leave their mothers at the age of 9 to 10 months, though a few females stay back with their mothers. In the wild, juvenile caracals leave their mothers at the age of 9 to 10 months, but most caracals fend for themselves before they are a year old. By this time, they are not far off fully grown and know how to take care of themselves. The average lifespan of captive caracals is nearly 16 years, while the maximum captive longevity reported was just over 20 years for a wild-born female raised in a captive environment. Wild caracals tend to live to about 12 years. This is in line with various other types of wildcats, such as Canada lynx and wildcats, slightly longer than cougars and slightly shorter than servals. While many people are fascinated by these beautiful creatures and may be tempted to keep them as pets, the reality is far more complex and problematic than most realize. Caracals are wild animals that should never be kept as pets for any reason. The only reason they should be in captivity is to preserve their lives, and only under professional care in zoos, wildlife rehabilitation, and conservation organizations. Even if you are fascinated by the beauty of these animals and the high price is not an issue, a caracal as a house cat is not a good idea. Caracals are wild animals and are not suited for a life in captivity. Suitable care in a private household is therefore impossible. Even the largest enclosure does not compare to a caracal's territory, and the animals cannot satisfy their hunting instinct in human care. Many of those who fantasize about owning a caracal cat are fixated predominantly on the earlier stages of caracal development. Basically, everyone loves the look of a caracal kitten, and who wouldn't? Caracal kittens are adorable and quirky, but eventually that kitten is going to grow into a cat, a large cat at that. Fully grown caracals can be as heavy as 50 pounds, though most males don't reach more than 40 pounds, and females 30 pounds. Adults can grow up to 32 inches in length, and stand at 21 inches at the shoulder. In order to meet their requirements as animals, you must ensure your pet caracal has a large outdoor area in which to roam, sneak, and play, several acres ideally. This area should be high-fenced and secure. If you rear a caracal from a very young age, it'll probably be tame enough not to wreak havoc on your indoor furniture. It will still relish the opportunity to swoop birds from low skies and tree branches, but there are examples of well-socialized caracals that interact positively with humans, even strangers. However, it is ill-advised to house in captivity a caracal which has previously lived in a cage. Such animals require very forgiving captive environments and are unlikely to adjust well. Caracals lack a homing instinct, so will not return if they get out of their enclosure. For this reason, it is recommended to construct a roofed enclosure. Obviously, installing a roof over several acres of grassland is a giant operation for private pet owners to undertake, but a scared caracal on the loose could cause a lot of damage to unsuspecting livestock and neighbors. Caracals require a diet that is difficult to replicate in a domestic setting. They are carnivores that thrive on a diet of fresh meat, which can be both costly and logistically challenging to sustain. Regular cat food for most house cats just won't work for these exotic cats. They also require 2 to 3 pounds of meat a day. Providing an appropriate diet for a caracal involves sourcing specific types of meat and supplements. An improper diet can lead to health issues and decreased quality of life for the animal. As wild animals, caracals are territorial, messy, and can be aggressive. Caracals, even those bred purposely to be pets, are still wild animals. They are unpredictable and can even be dangerous. A caracal's wild instincts can be triggered at any time, and this can include aggressive behavior toward humans, especially children, as well as other pets. Caracals are large, strong animals with powerful jaws and sharp teeth and claws. Even just one instance of aggression can do serious damage, especially to a child, an elderly person, or another pet. Caracals are also extremely territorial and messy. Many pet caracals are kept in special outdoor enclosures, not only for the safety of people and pets, but also because caracals can cause a lot of damage when they act on their normal behaviors like scratching, spraying urine, and defecating out in the open. They can run at 50 miles per hour, outrunning such animals as antelopes and ostriches. They are also territorial and primarily nocturnal. They are skilled, tenacious climbers and able diggers with the ability to fend off predators twice their size. All of this means that you do not want to get on the wrong side of a caracal. In most areas, you need a license to own one of these cats. Every state looks at wildlife ownership differently. Some ban the practice, others require hefty fees and licensure, and others have loose laws that don't so much specify what is and isn't allowed. It really just depends on where you live whether or not it is legal. However, even if it is technically legal, it still doesn't mean it's a good idea. Keeping caracals as pets can contribute to unethical breeding practices and detract from conservation efforts aimed at preserving these animals in their natural habitats. The exotic pet trade can lead to overexploitation and population declines in the wild. Ethical concerns include the impact of captivity on the psychological well-being of wild animals. If you keep a caracal as a pet, it might be tough to find a veterinarian who is willing to handle the cat, which will need preventative care and vaccines, and might need treatment if your caracal ever becomes injured or sick. It might be necessary to search out a wild animal veterinarian that treats exotic cats, and this can be expensive and might entail traveling far from your home. The species is categorized as least concern on the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List. The species is protected by the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species under Appendices 1 and 2. However, threats to the caracal populations include habitat loss and hunting by humans. The species is in the position of being classified as endangered in the Asian portion of their range, yet hunted as a problem animal in southern Africa. Social media has proven to be an effective way to raise conservation awareness about wildlife living on the urban edges. Research has shown that search interest in the term caracal has almost doubled in recent years, with a 91% increase in interest on Google Trends. Analysis of language used in sightings reports and comments on social media posts shows remarkably positive sentiments about caracals. Some of the most common words used to describe caracals were beautiful, amazing, and gorgeous. These magnificent creatures deserve our respect and admiration from a distance, in their natural habitat where they belong. While the temptation to own such a beautiful and fascinating animal may be strong, the reality is that caracals are wild predators, with complex needs that cannot be met in a domestic setting. They have evolved over thousands of years to thrive in specific environments, and removing them from these environments for our entertainment or companionship is neither fair to the animal nor safe for humans. If you're truly passionate about caracals, consider supporting conservation efforts, wildlife sanctuaries, or organizations that work to protect these amazing creatures in their natural habitats. You can appreciate their beauty and learn about their fascinating behaviors through documentaries, wildlife photography, and responsible wildlife viewing opportunities. Remember, the best way to love wild animals is to let them remain wild. If you found this information helpful and want to learn more about amazing wildlife, please subscribe to our channel and share this video with anyone who might benefit from understanding the truth about caracals and why they belong in the wild, not in our homes.